Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen, the Get Some podcast. And my guest this week is...
This motherfucker Gary.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary on the Get Some podcast. Thanks, everybody in Indianapolis last week that came out. We packed that house. This weekend, I'm in Buffalo, New York, at the Helium Comedy Club. And next weekend, I am in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, at the Improv. And then I'm in Washington, D.C., at the D.C. Improv, one of the best clubs in the country. And then I'm in Richmond, Virginia, to close out September. But this is going to be a Cincy heavy podcast, so bear with me. If you're not a football fan, this is going to be football heavy. And even if you are a football fan, you're going to love this episode. If you are not a football fan, I think you're still like it because some of these stories are funny. Shouts out to my fans. I got the best fans in the world. My birthday party this year with Joe Mixon. Hold on, put it on backwards. Lady gave me this chain. I'll be wearing this to all the games this year. Gary Owen with my last special Black Famous. It's Bodymaker Customs. So shouts out to her. Shouts out to Ted Karras, the Bengals center, for the Cincy hat. Now, if you don't know this hat, Ted gave it to me after I roasted the team last month. He came up to me afterwards. I was in the parking lot, and I was talking to Zach and a couple of the guys. And I never met Ted Karras. Very personable guy. If you get a chance, go to the Google his name, Bengals versus Tennessee last year. And he's leaving the field after they beat Tennessee. And he's like, yeah, up yours, Tennessee. Up yours. And he's just going off on people in the stands, the city itself. I mean, it just – and that game set the season up last year after that win. And, yeah, so he gave me a hat. He comes up to me. He's a real personable guy. Told me that they've raised, like, an enormous amount of money just off the sale of these hats. And I'm on the website right now. If you get a chance, go to thecincyhat.com. And it's 100% of the proceeds from these hats. They go directly to the Village of Mercy. I hope I'm saying that right. MERICI. Mercy. They provide services for coaching and independent housing to adults with disabilities. So it's actually I went to YouTube and really looked it up, and they do some dope stuff for they make like adults with disabilities, whether it's physical or mental, and they basically make them independent. They give them an apartment building with other people, and they have activities, and it's a nice apartment too, and it's in Indiana. And he's from Indianapolis. So, yeah, so thank you, Ted, for the hat. So I'm repping it. So if you get a chance, go to thecincyhat.com. We'll put it right here when this airs. We'll put the graphic, www.thecincyhat.com. So anyways, with the season upon us, when this first game's tonight, it's going to be the Lions and Chiefs, and I'm rooting hard for the Lions because I root for anybody in the NFC that plays the AFC because I'm always looking at the bigger picture and where it's going to set the Bengals up better. So anytime an NFC team plays an AFC team, I'm usually rooting for the NFC team. So, and the Lions are really like the Bengals version of the NFC. It's a less than desirable place for a long time, and now all of a sudden they turned it around, and there's high expectations for both cities this year and both teams. So, and I'll just start with Buffalo. I'm gonna go tell a bunch of funny stories this episode of things that have happened to me over the years at Bengal games. And I didn't realize till I was prepping for this episode. I'm not gonna give my prediction. It's 17-0. I give the same prediction every year. I can't bet against them. So again, 17-0. It's so funny because I'll make that prediction, and then if they lose a game, I'm going to go, so much for your prediction. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay, I get it. But 17-0, if you ask me my prediction. I mean, they was on me last year when Pittsburgh beat us week 1. So, anyways, Buffalo. We'll start with Buffalo since I'm in Buffalo this weekend. So last year in the playoff game, why did my schedule line up? It lined up where I could get to Buffalo. I don't know if was it a Sunday game? It was a day game. And I don't know why my schedule lined up where I was able to make it. But as soon as they released the schedule, and I was able to make the game, I got online as soon as I realized they were going to play the Bills, as soon as they beat the Raiders. I'm sorry, as soon as they beat the Ravens. And I go, I'm going to the game next week. And I just splurged, brought front row tickets right behind the Bengals bench, and went to the game. And then I got there so early, and it was freezing, so I wasn't about to tailgate. So I just remember, I've heard Buffalo fans are polite. I didn't know they were this level of polite. But everywhere we went, everyone was just waving. I was Bengaled out. And I just remember a cop goes, hey, you want to step back? Your team's coming. And I was like, huh? He goes, you want to step back? Your team's coming. So I was on a corner, and if you've never been to Buffalo Bills football stadium, it's in a neighborhood. It's in a residential neighborhood. And I'm on the corner of this, just two crossroads coming together, and I could see the buses coming. So the cop was telling me back up because the Bengal buses were coming. That's how early I was there. I was there before the team. And I'm this lone Bengal fan, Bengaled out, surrounded by Buffalo Bills fans, and the team drives by, and I'm just clapping. Oh, I see you guys. I can't see who's in the bus. The windows are tinted. I see you guys. I get a text from Zach Taylor. I see you holding down that street corner. And I was like, don't you have a game to coach? He goes, you're looking strong out there, though. Looking strong. I was like, I mean, there's only so many coaches that just are like, all right, the game plan's in. I figured you have your game face on, but Coach Taylor's just so cool like that. He was like, I see ya on the corner. And I was showing people with me. I was like, yo, look, Zach Taylor just texted me. I was like a little kid. This is him. This is his number. I just remember after the game, Bengals win. I'm on cloud nine. I just remember when I was leaving, it was so cold, but Buffalo Bill fans were just coming up and slapped me on the back going, hey, you beat us fair and square. Can't argue with that. Beat Kansas City. And I was just like, it was a great win because a lot of people wasn't picking us. And the defense is the ones that, the offense did good, but the defense really balled out that game. And then the next week we go to Kansas City, and shouts out to Travis Kelce. He was polite enough to let me sit in his suite. That's freezing. I was in Minnesota that weekend, and I canceled my Sunday show. And I said I got personal reasons. So I only did Friday and Saturday in Minnesota. I didn't do Sunday, but I was like, I got to make that game. So then I caught a flight from Minnesota to Kansas City, went to the game, and obviously if you go to my Instagram page and really scroll down, or my TikTok, you can really see there's a funny video of everyone in the suite going crazy right after Kansas City won, and I'm just sitting against the wall just looking away. And I'm so sad. And I really was. But it made me feel a little better because after the game, me and my buddy T-Rob, we got to go to the Chiefs after party. And everyone was really cool. Like, Mahomes was cool. Kelce was cool. I remember Melvin Gordon introduced himself to me. Justin Reed, who I didn't like because he talked a lot of shit about the Bengals when they played him in the regular season. But he came up, and I was telling him how I went off on him. I showed him even a video I did of him talking smack about him. He was laughing about it. But, yeah, they was cool. They was cool. I wish I could say they were a bunch of assholes, but they weren't. Like, they was cool. So it was cool just to hang out and have that experience of like partying with the team on their way to the Super Bowl. Much rather be Cincinnati, but it was cool. And everybody knows I'm a Bengals fan because every player that was at that party that saw me, they was apologizing. Hey, sorry about your team, man. I had to do it to them. You know, I was like, it's cool, but I was like, it's just funny. Like, everybody knows I'm a Bengals fan. And then, so then I was thinking, like, the year before when we had the Super Bowl run, oh my God, I don't like to go to sports bars, and I like to be at the game, I like to be at home or in my room. When they went to the Super Bowl, when they played the Chiefs and they won, so it'd be two seasons ago, I got a nightclub offered me money to come watch the game with some fans. It wasn't a ton of money. I mean, obviously I have a price, but it wasn't enough to make me want to leave my hotel and watch it. I wanted to watch it in my room because I'd be screaming. I'd be acting nuts. And I just remember I was going ham in my room in Phoenix that day. And then the week before, they were in Tennessee when Evan McPherson kicked that field goal to win it. And I was in Dayton, Ohio at the Funny Bone. And I literally told the club, we're not starting this show until the game's over. And they put what I did was, we actually had, not to my own harm, but I said, hey, let's say, hey, come watch the game with Gary. So we showed the game. Every comedy club has a big screen to show comedians that are coming the next week. I said, lower the big screen. Let's stream the game. And we'll say, hey, come to the show, come to the comedy club about 4:30 and watch the game with Gary. And he's like, dude, it got packed quick. So basically everyone there, they came to watch the game with me. And then when the game was over, we went on with the comedy show. And I remember I sat in the back of the room, and I had to go to my dressing room when they were about to kick the field goal because I didn't want to be in the room with other people. And when they hit that field goal, I came running out the dressing room. I'm running through the whole audience. And then somebody got on stage, and I pushed this guy off stage. This guy got on stage like doing an Icky Shuffle. I pushed him off, and I was like doing my dance. I got a Who Dey chant going in the comedy club. Oh, it was a freaking great day. And then the next week was when they played Kansas City and we won. And the week before that, I was in Philly when they played the Raiders. And I called the promoter. And I think it was me. I think Epps was on the show. It was a ensemble show. There was like 4 or 5 of us. And I don't know if I was supposed to host or go up earlier. But I just told him, I said, I'm not leaving my room until this game's over. And it was a 4 o'clock game, so it was going to be over about 7 or 4:30, 7:30. And it went a little longer. But I remember it went to about 8 o'clock, and the show was starting at 8. So I had to, once it was over, I called the Uber, and I got to the venue. I think we were at the LaCroix Center. Anyways, where Temple plays basketball. We was in an arena. And I got there, and they pushed me back on the lineup. And I made sure I texted all the other comics saying, hey, I'm a Bengals fan. I will be late to the show, so I'm sorry to mess the lineup up, but some of you might have to go early. And so I ended up going up like later than I was supposed to, but I wasn't going to miss that game either. So that run, I was in Philly for the Raider game, got to the show late. I'm in Dayton, Ohio for the Tennessee game. Told everybody, come watch the game with me. We're not starting the show. The game's over. And then thank God I was in Phoenix for the Kansas City game because that's a West Coast game, so it was over early. And I remember I went partying that night. And I was in Phoenix. I was at Stand Up Live, and Kevin Hart was at the other comedy club in Tempe. And I went over there to see him to say what's up. And then I went to a party afterwards, and I was the only one celebrating. There was no other Bengal fans there. I was by myself. And I remember I was telling Kev, like, God, I got to find a way to get tickets. And I was trying to give him a wink, like, if you're going, let me sit in the suite. But he didn't take the hint. He never picked up on it. And then when I saw him at the game, it was at SoFi. He was sitting with LeBron and all them. I felt like texting him, like, hey, can I come up? But I splurged. I got front row tickets for the Super Bowl that year. It was funny because, and I don't know if I've told this story on the podcast before. I'm sure I have, but I just remember when they won, I was FaceTiming Dwayne Wade. He had a suite at SoFi, and he had to give, I guess the NFL buys all the suites, but they offer the suite owners a chance to buy tickets. So Dwayne bought 8, and I guess he had promised them to Ashton Kutcher, and Ashton Kutcher couldn't make it, or he changed his mind. And then I remember they offered them to me. They said, Gary, you're a Bengals fan. We got 8. How many you want? I go, all 8. And then I didn't realize how much they were. And I bought all 8, wired the money to Dwayne. And then I ended up, I'm not going to tell you how much, but I ended up using 4, and I ended up selling the other 4. And I made my money back and then some off the 4 tickets. So I ended up going to the Super Bowl and making a little money on the side. So shouts out to Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union. I appreciate that. That was the hookup. So, yeah, those are the last 2 playoff run stories. Now, I'll tell you some heartbreak stories. You know what? Let me tell you another good one before I get into the bad ones. So back in 2005, when the Bengals had they had Carson Palmer. They were balling, and I want to make sure I got my dates right and everything. 2005 Bengals. I don't want to give no misinformation. So the 2005 team, that's the one. Oh, God, we had a squad. We had a squad, bro. So this was the December 4th game, 2005, against the Steelers in Heinz Field. And we were balling that year. God, we lost in Jacksonville week 5. Yeah, I remember that. It was a Monday night game. No, it wasn't. It was a Sunday night game. And then looks like we lost to Pittsburgh. So we were 7-3 going into that game. And I remember the November 20th game was a shootout against Peyton Manning. And then we beat the Ravens. So we go to Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh had our number. Every year they had our number. We're like their stepchild. And I remember that was the year I was like, dude, we got them. We got their number. We're going to beat. It was just a feeling in the city, a feeling. I drove up from Cincinnati with my buddy Paul, high school friend of mine. So we go, and I got tickets from a player. And anybody knows NFL players, the road seats are freaking terrible. And I don't even want to go if I'm going to get road seats because you're so high up. And it's not like you're high up on the 50. You're high up in the corner of an end zone. So they're not great seats. And I figured the NFL would give the road team better seats. So we go. And I think I got whoever I got tickets from that game. I just remember we just kept going higher and higher, me and my buddy Paul. So now we sit down, and it's a back and forth game. And I always know, I don't really go in on the other team. I just root for my team. And then I don't curse, I know, because I brought my kids to games and things like that. I'll look around. I'm aware of my environment. So I'm not going to say I never cuss, but if there's kids around, I'm very careful. So I just remember me and my buddy Paul went back and forth. And then Tab Perry, man, was it a punt or kickoff back? I think it was a kickoff because they came back on us. And what just happened? I remember Tab Perry ran a punt or kickoff back. That's what I remember. And when he ran it back, obviously Pittsburgh fans were not happy. Let me see. Okay, scored. Tab Perry. It was special team. It was a kickoff return. Yeah. But he scored. What? I thought he scored a touchdown on that. No, he got caught? This is 94-yard. What? That ain't right. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me get a recap of this game. He scored. I'm almost positive he scored. Hold on. That don't sound right. Okay, I'm getting the wild card game stats. I'm sorry. Regular season. Anyways, Tab Perry ran a kickoff or a punt back that game. Anyways, when he ran that back, I'm pretty sure it was a kickoff. We were going nuts. Me and my buddy Paul, and we're lone soldiers. We're surrounded by Steeler fans. And this one guy in the back, about 3 rows back from us, who was give me shit the whole game, right? And I was just ignoring him. He goes, "Hey, man, you stand up one more time, we're going to have some problems." And I just remember I looked back, and I just went, and he was like, when I looked back at him, he looked like he ain't had nothing to lose. And I was like, oh, shit. And I looked at my buddy Paul, and then I looked back, I go, "I just got back from Iraq, okay? I'm sorry they're playing your team." I said, "Just want to go see the Bengals play." And then with the same anger, the guy goes, "Oh, I'm sorry." And my buddy Paul went, "What the fuck you come up with that?" I was like, I don't know, but we're safe. And I just remember we were getting beers bought for us the rest of the game. These Iron City Brew beers. People were just, "Hey, man, thanks for your service." Because I still got the short haircut. I still got it. So my buddy Paul's black. He had a short haircut. I had a short haircut. We looked like military dudes. And I just remember it was just the same anger, though. "Oh, I'm sorry." But we got out of there. I just remember everyone was like shaking my hand on the way out. Hey, good game, man. I was like this. It went from everybody hated us to everybody was cool afterwards. And it was all because I said I just got back from Iraq. Complete lie. Yeah, so that was funny, that Pittsburgh game. And then I remember God, 2000, it doesn't matter. 2016, 17, the Bengals were no, it was 2017. Hold on. I'm gonna make sure I got my years right because I know people be on me when you get your years wrong on here. That was a 2007. I think it was Joe Mixon's rookie year, 2017 Bengals, because we were 4-1, and the Steelers was 2-2 or 2-3 coming in. And I remember before that game, I go, this is the make or break for the season. So Bengals schedule. No, it wasn't 2017. Clearly, we started out 0-3. No, that wasn't it. It must have been the 2018 or 2016 season. Hold on. 2016? Really? I thought it was later than that. No, because we weren't. No, it had to be 2018. Yes. No. Hold on. Yeah. Yep, there it is. Yep. It was a 2018 season. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because we're 4-1. Yep, I was right there. And Pittsburgh came in. What was their record? Whatever they were, 2-2, 2-3. But anyways, I remember thinking, if we beat them, their season might go to shit. And if we lose, then I was looking at our schedule we got a tough schedule the rest of the way. And I just, God, I'll never forget. Was that? Was that Mahomes' first year? Was that his first year starting or no? Because we got spanked later on. No, that wasn't his first year. 2008. I'm sorry. I should have had this all prepped. I got a little excited. Yeah, I think. Yeah, that was Mahomes' first year starting. Yeah, that was the first year starting. Yeah. So I just remember we were up the whole game, and then Antonio Brown caught a touchdown with not a lot of time left, and our season went to shit after that. And then, of course, the Steelers had a winning season. They always do. But I just remember this guy tried to talk to me. I hate it. This is what I hate. Don't talk to me during a game when you know it's not over and you know everybody's history of how they play. Because historically, Pittsburgh comes back and beats the Bengals. Bengals might go up, but in the past, the Steelers come back and they end up winning. So this guy started talking to me. He's a Steeler fan. And I guess I knew him from high school or something. At a left field, he goes, keep in mind, the Bengals are winning. And Steelers get the ball boy with not a lot of time left, but they had Big Ben who always had our number. They got Antonio Brown who was in the prime Antonio Brown days. And he looked at me and goes, hey, man, did you used to roller skate at Golden Skates in high school? And I go, you're asking me that now? And I remember he just kind of faded away because I'm a comedian. I'm a nice guy usually when people see me at the games. I just remember I snapped on him. I go, you're going to ask me that now? And sure enough, he goes, man, you guys got it. You got it. And I was like, you don't believe that. You don't fucking believe that. So stop telling me that shit. And sure enough, they came down to 1. I just remember looking at that son of a bitch. I was like, whenever people do that to me, the team I'm rooting for always loses. It happened to me. I remember I went to Game 6 of the Bulls and Jazz in 98, and Brian Russell left his tickets. I got to see Jordan's basically last game with the Bulls, and I was rooting for the Jazz because Brian Russell left me tickets. And I just remember the guy I brought with me from L.A. kept saying, they got it, it's over. They got it. I said, dude, this is Jordan. You know it ain't over because the Jazz led most of that game in the second half. And I remember telling went up by like 5 or 6 points, and we go, it's over. You guys got it. I go, you don't believe that. And sure enough, the Bulls end up winning. I just looked at him like, So when this guy did it, it was the same shit. And that's when I took that picture. There's a picture of me always when the Bengals suck. And it's like, I don't post what other people posted, and it's just me alone. It's a whole section of empty seats, and it's just me sitting there. And, of course, that pick was staged. Yeah, I was upset. Yeah, I was mad. But I also knew we had to deal with traffic. And I got this Bengal robe this fan gave me years ago. And I got the robe on. I'm sitting there, and I'm just lonely. My face like this. It's just like it's such a great picture of frustration. And the Steelers always do that to us, man. Not since Burrow got there, but in the past, they treat us like their stepchild. It's very frustrating. And then, okay, here's the funniest Steeler story though of all of them. It seems like it's very Steeler heavy. But I remember, God, it's pre-COVID, so 2019, and we go to the game. And let me make sure I got my dates right. Bengals 2019 record. God, they were so bad. Oh, that's why they got Burrow. That was that team. They were really bad. So Steelers. What was the final score there? Why can't I find the score? That was a close game, though. Hold on. Okay, that was a terrible website to go to. 2000. Bengals schedule. Yeah. So this was November. No, it was at home. So where's it at? Bengals, Steelers. Yeah, Steelers won 16-10. But I remember that game was really close. And I remember I went to Carlos Dunlap's house after the game, and we were eating dinner. And Carlos likes to cook. I mean, he's got a couple restaurants open now. But I remember we had to say the prayer before we ate. And Carlos said the prayer. And he was like thanking the Lord for everybody getting here safe and the food that's going to nourish us and things like that. And he goes, and thanks for getting me out of the game healthy today. And I thought we were going to win, but we didn't. But I guess you know what's best, and I guess you got a plan or something. But the way he said the prayer was so like defeating. It was like, I guess you know better than me why they beat us, because I don't. I can't figure it out. And I remember looking at him like, I was in the print. I go, I almost start laughing. I couldn't believe he said it, but it wasn't funny. It was funny. And I would go, dang. I said he's really hurt by them losing. So I just remember that game. So enough Steeler games. And here's what's funny about Dunlap. Like Dunlap, when he was on the team, used to always leave me tickets. I've gone through stages of players. When Hushmanzada was there, or Ocho Cinco, I remember TJ used to always let me sit in his suite. He shared it with Delth O'Neal. And then later, Ocho always let me sit in his suite when he was on the team. That's why I was mad when Ocho left, because I always said I just need one. I would go down by myself to the games. I just need one ticket. I don't need a bunch. I'm not like that. And they always kept me seeing it. And this guy, Maine, would call me like the night before, you coming tomorrow? All right, we got one for you. Are you not? All right, we'll let it go. But, yeah, I remember, God, I miss them. Those are some funny. We were terrible, but I remember when we got T.O., we thought we was about to ball. That didn't work out. But it's weird how things work out, though, because we sucked in 2019, and that led us to Joe Burrow. We sucked in 2010 with T.O., and that basically got us A.J. Green, Andy Dalton, which you can say whatever you want about we didn't win any playoff games, but we were competitive, and we were a fun team to watch there. Those first 5 years with those guys was really fun. Okay, last Steelers story, the last one, the playoff game. Both of them. We'll go through both. The most recent one when we lost, the 2015 team lost in the playoffs. That one really hurt. Which one hurt more, 2005 or 2015? Amazing how it was exactly 10 years apart. But the 2015 game, I remember I was in Phoenix. Why am I always in Phoenix when they're in the playoffs? And we were roasting Alabama and Clemson that year. And they were playing for the national title. It was me, it was Faison, it was Anthony Anderson, a couple other people. But we went to both teams, roasted them at their team hotels. So by the time we got, I remember thinking too, as long as this, when the playoff schedule got released, I was like, as long as they're not playing the late Saturday night game, I'll get to watch it, whether it's Sunday or Saturday, because I'm on the West Coast. And it was the late Saturday night game. Didn't start till like 8 o'clock. I said, you're killing me right now. So it was like 5 or 6 in Phoenix, and we had to do the roast early because the guys had curfew and stuff. Not like a normal comedy club. We were starting at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. So I'm watching it at a hotel bar, and then they called me to go on stage. We roasted Alabama, took some pictures and stuff, and then we got in an SUV and we all went over to roast Clemson. So now the Clemson game's over. So now I'm watching the game with Clemson's whole team, and Tony Rock was on the show, and Tony Rock's a huge Steeler fan. And when Vontaze intercepted that ball, and I thought we had the game in the bag, I had my phone up. I'm videoing, but I'm glad I didn't go live. But I had my video camera out, and I was getting ready to post it. And I was like, and finally, the curse is over. I remember I ran on stage. I was like, I'll do another show. You guys want some more jokes? And I like, the curse is over. I got Clemson's team behind me. And I just remember, I was like, it's the Tigers, it's the Bengals, it's all about the Cat family. And I'm just talking shit. And Jeremy Hill fumbled that ball. And I just went, delete. I was like, I went in a janitor's closet to watch the game because I didn't want to be around anybody because I've seen this movie before. It's the Titanic. It sinks every time. And I remember he fumbled that damn ball, and then Ben Roethlisberger couldn't throw the ball over 10 yards and just kept dinking and dunking. And then Vontaze hit AB. Pac-Man got a penalty. Joey Porter ran on the field, and chaos ensued, and they kicked that cheap shot field goal. And I just remember I'd never been so high as when A.J. Green caught that touchdown from A.J. McCarron. And then I'd never been so low when Jeremy Hill fumbled the ball. Because I think everybody in Cincinnati knew. He's like, we know what's going to happen. They're going to drive down the field like Ben does every year against us. And I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. That one hurt. There's pictures of me at the ESPN party. Everybody smiling. I'm not. And it's like, so, but the 2005 one? Okay, this is a story for your ass right now. So I'm in Kansas City, right? I just remember the Giants were playing the early game, and the Bengals was the afternoon. It was a Sunday game. And I just remember I couldn't even get into the playoff. I think it was Carolina Giants was the early game. I couldn't even get into it. I was so like Bengals hadn't been to playoffs in like 15 years, and we had a squad, and we had Pittsburgh's number that year. We did. We had their number. And I just remember thinking, God dang it, we got a shot to go all the way here. That was Peyton Manning, Tom Brady heydays, but I just remember thinking, we got a shot. And, oh my gosh. I'm in the hotel room in Kansas City, and Carson Palmer throws that beauty of a ball to Chris Henry. Chris Henry catches it. I go freaking nuts in my room. I'm like, come on, that's what I'm talking about. I'm yelling. And then I see Carson on the ground. And I knew, I didn't have to see the hit. I knew when, it's so weird. The way Joe Burrow got hurt and Carson Palmer were very similar. They were throwing a ball, a fade, and you didn't really catch it till the play was well over with. When Burrow got hurt against the Redskins or the Commanders, I remember he threw the ball, and I remember when he let it go, I was like, that didn't look right. But the ball came out, and then when Carson dropped the bomb, I remember thinking, oh, he got hit pretty good because his body like torqued weird. And then when he went to him, he was rolling around on the ground just like Carson was rolling around on the ground. I go, I knew it. I was like, I don't need to see replay. It was ACL. So then when Carson got hurt and then Kitnick came in, and we did have a lead at halftime. We were winning, but it just You knew it was a matter of time Pittsburgh was they were going to come back. But when Carson got hurt and they replayed it, and you knew it was an ACL, I remember I went, yeah, I'm yelling, Chris Henry, yeah, oh yeah. All of a sudden I went, oh, fuck. And I go, you fucking bitch. And I must have said bitch 30 times, right? You bitch, man. Cops come, knock on my hotel door. They go, where's the girl? And I went, huh? They go, where's the girl? So they got hotel security, and they got this cop. There's 2 cops. Was it 2 cops? Yeah, it was 1 cop and 2 hotel security. Or was it 2 guys? I can't remember. But anyways, they come in my room, and I'm dying laughing. I go, oh, my God. Somebody must have complained. And I had an adjoining room, so I'm sure it was the people right next door. I didn't, trash room. I'm throwing pillows. I'm very strategic, but I'm throwing shit against the wall. I'm going nuts. You bitch, motherfucker, that shit. And the way I'm yelling must sound like I was yelling at a girl. So they said they heard that somebody said they heard a female, and they heard a guy going, you fucking bitch. So somebody called the hotel, and I'm sure security came up and heard what was going on, called the cops, and they thought there was a guy in there beating the shit out of his girl. And I go, oh my God, no. And I said, I'm sorry. I got Bengals shit on. I go, I'm a Bengals fan, and Carson got hurt, and I don't think you could see it. I've never seen a cop laugh that hard in my life. He was just like, oh my God. And he told me we got called and da-da-da. And I was like, oh man, my bad. So can you imagine? You're a police officer. You go on the scene. You got to be revved up. Like, is it domestic violence, or is it a pimp hitting his hoe or something like that? Nah, just me yelling at the TV. Because I guess I must have did have a high-pitched scream, and then me saying bitch 200 times in the matter of probably 20 minutes. I was like, so that was just funny. Literally walked in the room. Where's the girl? It's like, huh? They go, where's the girl? And I was like, there's no girl in my room. And then I let them in. I said, come in the room. They came in the room. They started looking around. And my room wasn't trash, but pillows were everywhere. And I'm sitting here, and I'm sweating. I'm drenched because I'm so mad. And then I was, oh, my God, my bad. So I remember thinking, who called? It was somebody in that hallway. Thought I was beating some girl's ass. But, yeah. And so that happened. And then I remember one year we went to Cleveland. Oh, man, this is when we thought they were going to – this was probably 2006 or 2007. Carson was back from the ACL. And I remember my same buddy Paul, and my dad, and was it one of my uncles or something? Dan? I don't know. There was 4 of us. We go to the Bengals-Browns game. It was the first game of the year. And I remember we were leaving, and – I think the Browns won that game. We were in shock because we drove right down the field. Let me say that was that the 2017? Hold on. I'm just sorry. I'm anal like this. I like to get my years right. Let me see. The first game was against Cleveland. They lost. I remember that. Nope, wasn't 2007. Well, it was the second game. They were at the Browns. Yeah, that was no. That's a Thursday night game. No. That was well, yeah. That was it. It was 2007. It was the second game because they beat the Ravens week 1. Then they went to Cleveland, lost 45-51 because I remember it was a shootout. And we're leaving, and we're Bengaled out, and Cleveland fans are talking shit and everything. And this one guy literally looked at me and threw his elbow back, goes, hey, man, you hitting on my wife? And I was like, what? Keep in mind, this guy, he had to see the wife. Anyways, I remember I looked at him, and I was so calm. And I remember, you're giving yourself way too much credit right now. And that's all I said to him. It was just not a woman I would hit on. I'll put it that way. Just remember what just happened. I'm walking. I'm not talking to nobody. I'm not talking shit. I got my head down. We lost a game we were supposed to win. And I just remember thinking, you got to be kidding me. This guy thinks I'm hitting on his wife. But the way he did it, man, hey, man, you hitting on my wife? I was like, whoa. Slow down there. Not saying I'm Brad Pitt, but let's bring it back a little bit. But I remember he just faded away. He was just like, I lost him in the crowd. I just kept walking. So that was a funny Cleveland story. And here's the thing about football fans. Most people, when they see me at a game, I get stopped quite a bit, but they know I'm a Bengals fan, and they know if I'm there, I'm rooting for the Bengals. And 95% of the people are cool. They're cordial. They're nice. We hear all the bad stories about fighting in the NFL. You hear Philly fans, Raider fans. I don't experience that necessarily. Most people I experience are cool. The worst, most aggravating fan I ever sat next to was in Dallas. And that was the 2016 team. That was Ezekiel Elliott's rookie year because Ezekiel Elliott ran all over us. And I just remember I took my seat and I got all my Bengal stuff on, right? And as soon as I sit down, like, people recognize me. And then most of them are going, "What's up, Gary? What's up? We going to get your team today?" 28-14. We were down 28-0. I remember that game, October 9th. Wow. Time's flying. And I remember, like, they were giving me smack, but it was friendly smack, right? And the guy sitting right next to me, why did I have to sit next to this guy? He doesn't know who I am. And I was shocked because it was a black dude. A young guy, though. And as soon as I sat down, he was like, "We're going to give this guy shit the whole game." And so I'm like, what is this guy doing? And then every time I would try to needle him a little bit, but having fun with it, he took it left, took it the wrong way. So the Bengals, they're out down on 28-0, and they're not in the game. It just was, I don't know. They just weren't into it. And then they score, so it was 28-7. And I look back at the people behind me, the people like 4 rows up that are being cool, and I go, "I told you, it's time. Here we go." And it was like in the fourth quarter, there's no time left. And the guy goes, "No, this guy thinks they're coming back." And he's standing up, and he's always over talking me. And I went, "This motherfucker here, he don't know when to quit." And then, so there's like 2-3 minutes left in the game. Clearly, Cowboys got the game in the bag. It was 27-28-14 at this point. And I didn't know he was sitting next to his grandmother. I never paid attention to who he was sitting next to. And his grandmother said, "We got to go." And I just say grandmother because she looked way older than him. And then I just remember he looked at her, and he goes, "I don't want to leave." And he like quit his heart like, "I don't want to leave." And then he goes, I remember he looked at me, he goes, "It's my first game." So I was like, oh, this was this guy's first ever NFL football game going to. And I just remember I looked at him, I said, "You got to leave because your grandma's got to leave?" And I said it real slow, and he just looked at me. And she just got up. She goes, whatever his name was, she was like, "Jerry, come on." And I go, "You got to go. I guess you got to go. You can't stay. Your grandma wants to leave, so you got to leave." Oh, I remember the dude wanted to fight. Like, I remember he just looking at me, and I just ignored him. But it was just like, that was the only guy that I was ever just like, I really hate the Cowboys because of him. I heard Cowboy fans were obnoxious, and like I said, I don't see it. But that guy made me not like fully root for the Cowboys that year. Because they're not playing the Bengals again unless it was the Super Bowl. So, yeah, that was the one right there. That was the one fan I was like, I can see how people get in fights at games. I never saw it before, but I was like, now I get it. I know why people get in fights at games. So, yeah. So those are just some stories of my history with the Bengals. But, man, I've had a good run. So this year, 17-0. Vegas in February. That's the Super Bowl. Yeah. Burrow's back, baby. So, yeah. Appreciate the fan with the chain. This weekend, don't forget, I'm in Buffalo. You guys got a big game, but you guys aren't playing until Monday. So you guys can come see me Friday, Saturday, or Sunday because your team is playing the Jets on Monday. A game everybody's watching because Aaron Rodgers is playing. But, yeah, so then next week I'm in Pittsburgh. Shouts out to Pittsburgh. You guys always come out to see me, so it's hard. It's weird. You're a comedian. You're not supposed to like cities, but Cleveland always comes out. Pittsburgh always comes out. Baltimore always comes out. Like, the 3 cities in the AFC North are one of my best cities as far as, like, comedy clubs go. I love going there performing. The crowds are great. They always come out. And so it's like, I don't hate the city. I don't hate the teams. I root for the Bengals. We got to play you guys twice. Like, but if we're not playing you, I root for you guys sometimes. All right? As long as when you're playing each other in the AFC North, I got to figure out how I'm rooting for that game. So, yeah. All right, y'all. Well, 17-0. Shouts out to Ted Karras for the hat. Shouts out to the fan that made me this. And we'll see you guys next week with the Get Some podcast.